What's going on YouTube? It's Jeffman316, your pop culture reporter, coming back to you with the weekly pop culture report for November 21st, 2020. I apologize, this is going to be a day or two late. I'm going to try to pump these out, like I said, weekly. There may not always be on time, and I may not be able to do one every week, but there was a couple news items that I thought intrigued me, and I wanted to go ahead and sit down and record some of the interesting news for me, and so I can post a new video for you guys. Before we get started, if you do me a favor, go ahead and like this video, hit the thumbs up down below, add some comments if you want about what you liked last week, what you think I should do different, or wait until you watch this video and add some comments at the end. Subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done that already, go ahead and do that. I really appreciate your support. And then hit that notification bell, because when Jeffman316 Customs posts any new videos, you'll be the first to see them on the channel, and you can come on over, and I appreciate any support you guys could give me. So with that being said, let's get into the first news of the week. I'm going to start off with what's probably going to be the only somber news item that I've got on here. John Cena, if you're not aware, he started filming the new revamped version of the show Wipeout. I think it's going to be on the USA Network. And this week, a contestant on that show finished the course and then afterwards collapsed and was taken to the hospital. And from what I understand, he passed away at the hospital. And the only reason I mention that is I don't ever remember hearing that again. That was some unique, weird news. And I wonder how they're going to react to that as far as John Cena hosting the show, whether it'll continue, whether they'll pause for a while. Let's just see what happens with that. But I thought that was pretty unique. It's a tragedy. It's sad, but I thought that was something I'd like to. You might be interested in. Maybe we can follow up on it once they figure out what they're going to do with the show. But with that being said, I'm going to try to be more positive with the rest of the news. So I'm going to start off the main chunk of the news with something that really interests me. I read an article that they were doing a restoration on the original shark that played Bruce in the first Jaws movie, you know, Steven Spielberg's classic. And Greg Nicotero, I think that's how you pronounce his name, who is one of the special effects leads for The Walking Dead, and he's done a lot of other things like Creepshow and things like that. He did a massive restoration of one of the sharks that they found, and I think it's going to be ready. They displayed some photos, and it's already being put in place, and it's going to be displayed in the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures, and I think that display is going to open in 2021. I would love to travel and see that. As if you've watched any of my Who is Jeffman316 video, you'll know that Jaws is my favorite movie. With that being said, a movie that I forgot to mention last week that came out at the theaters was Freaky. It stars Vince Vaughn, and I think he's a serial killer that ends up swapping places with either, I don't know enough about it, I haven't read it, I don't want to spoil it, but I think she's a teenager or a college student, and they end up swapping bodies. So it's like a Freaky Friday version of Friday the 13th, if you want to think of that, because it's got, you know, the slasher elements to it. So that looks pretty interesting. I haven't made my way back to theaters yet because of, you know, the virus going on. But the one thing I will say is that movie, I think, is going to come on video on demand on the 30th of the month. And if that's the case, I think I might go see that. So I know one other news item is Disney Plus went ahead and announced that they're moving ahead. Disney announced that they're going to move ahead with the Deadpool movies. And as you can see, I'm a Deadpool fan. Got the jersey, got the new Deadpool head. And they said that it should be rated R, so that maybe they won't downplay it. Maybe it'll be, you know, they won't put a buffer on Deadpool's mouth, if you want to call it that, or muffler. Let's call it a muffler. They said that some rumors are coming out that they're wondering when the timeline is going to be for the movie, and that it could be that they do something cool and go back and have it to where it takes place during one of the Avengers movies, maybe like Avengers Endgame. That would be fairly interesting. There's a fan poster art that somebody created that ends up having like a Wolverine type theme to it. I'll show you that here. And they keep teasing that, you know, they really, I think Ryan Reynolds would really love to have Wolverine back and do some kind of crossover with that. Speaking of Deadpool, you got any news you want to report?
Breaking news, man-sized homunculus plays with superhero toys.
What's wrong with superhero toys?
And after the break, unicorns are real. And boy, are they hot.
Let's do one more.
This just in. A new study shows twerking helps lower cholesterol.
And that's enough out of you then. So, some other superhero news. It looks like Wonder Woman 1984 is finally going to debut, and it's going to be on HBO Max. I think it's going to come out Christmas Day with a simultaneous release in some theaters. That's awesome to me. I'm ready to see that movie. Been looking forward to it. I wonder what that means for Black Widow. Is Marvel going to go ahead and break and finally release that on Disney Plus? And if they do, it'll probably be a premium of $29.99 or whatever it was with the way they did Mulan. But Wonder Woman, if you're an HBO Max subscriber, is not going to cost you anything extra. So I thought that was pretty neat. Keeping going with the superhero theme. I don't know if you guys noticed, but the Justice League Snyder Cut trailer that was online a couple months or so ago disappeared for a couple weeks, and I was worried maybe that, you know, some of the chatter that's been going on behind the scenes of everybody that wasn't happy with the way the film was originally filmed, and the way some people were treated. I won't go into that, but it did. The trailer started showing back up online. I think it might have been a music rights issue, because I think the song originally that's back in there. I love the trailer. There's a black and white version that I think is cool, and then there's a color version. But it shows quite a bit of the character that I've been waiting to see, Darkseid. So there's a couple shots of Darkseid in there. It looks super cool. And then there's also some shots of Superman in what looks like to be his black suit. So obviously a lot of that stuff was already filmed, and then they cut it out when Joss Whedon took over. So let's go ahead and continue with some TV/movie news. Something that really interests me was that Robert Englund, aka Freddy Krueger, was announced that he's going to be joining the cast of Stranger Things Season 4. I personally love Robert Englund, and I think even at his age, he could probably get away with playing Freddy Krueger at least one more time. And then that way maybe we can wipe our memory of that abysmal reboot movie that they made. But he's got the makeup appliances and everything on there. So I don't know why he couldn't do it.
You are super attractive. You can't tell, but I'm using air quotes.
Thanks. If you're a fan of continuous superhero stuff, also, if you're a fan of Joaquin Phoenix's version of the Joker, it looks like he might be getting back into a new role. Ari Aster, who created two of my favorite movies, Hereditary and Midsommar, he may be in the lead of his role in his new movie, Beau is Afraid. I think that seems like a good fit, because Ari Aster movies are going to end up being kind of kooky and weird, and based on his performance in the Joker, I think he would fit into that. And then another tidbit, I heard about an interview that Mel Gibson did, and he teased a reunion with Danny Glover for a Lethal Weapon 5 movie, and I was wondering, would that even work? They both look pretty good from the last couple movies I've seen, and how would that work? Would they still be working at their age? Were they going to mentor some younger cops? How would they go? I think Mel Gibson is 64 years old and Danny Glover 74. So at this point, they may really be too old for this shit. Sorry, you knew that joke just wrote itself, that had to be said. So let's do some home video news. Criterion's got their 50% off sale. It's at Barnes & Noble's brick and mortar stores, online at their site, and I think Amazon, because of Black Friday, is matching some of those. I ended up with a decent stack of Criterions this week. I'm not going to show them here because I think I want to do a Criterion, like, you know, unveiling or unboxing video where I show some of those, because I bought so many of them. But I did buy a few other items this week, just because a couple of things were unique, and some of it was things I've been waiting to see. I purchased this DVD set of The Undertaker, The Last Ride. It looks like it's got the full documentary, all the parts to it. And I'm trying to look on here and see. I don't know if it's got any special features. I haven't opened it yet because I don't usually buy a lot of DVDs anymore. But I bought this one because it came from Walmart. And it's got a special slip cover. And there you can see the original artwork and the slip side by side. The back cover is the same. But it says, you know, slipcovers to me are kind of a waste unless it's got different artwork. So at least that's got something different. But it includes a mini comic book also from Boom Studios. So this is a Walmart exclusive with the slipcover and the comic. And so I think it's out a couple weeks early. I figured that may be a collector's item considering The Undertaker just retired, supposedly. So I bought that. Another thing that I bought was the Resident Evil box set. I may do an unboxing of this because I like the set, I like the movies, but I don't like this this case that the thing's in. It's just weird the way they put the movies inside. But it was a good deal. I got it at Best Buy and I had a coupon, like, you know, we call it Best Buy bucks or whatever you want to call it, certificate. Another 4K movie, sorry if I didn't mention that's in 4K, that I got was the New Mutants. The reason I got this is I haven't seen the movie, but this is the Best Buy exclusive steelbook, and a lot of their steelbooks sometimes are valuable. This movie kind of was a stinker at the box office, so I don't know if anybody wants this or not, but that's a closer look at the artwork. And I haven't pulled the sleeve off of it, but it's probably kind of plain on the back. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about that. I bought a movie that I was going to go see in the theater, or at least I was planning on it until COVID hit, and it was Unhinged with Russell Crowe. This comes with a slipcover, and once again, it's just the same artwork, so to me, that's kind of a waste. But with that being said, this is one of those things where he is, you know, got road rage and ends up in some kind of, I don't know whether it's a fender bender or somebody just cuts him off in traffic, but he ends up following them around and stalking them. So it looked like a really unique role, something that he might not have done before. And like I said, I wanted to go see it in the theater, but I didn't take a chance, and I knew that it would come out soon on video because it was video on demand soon thereafter. And then the last two are two horror movies that I got really cheap at Walmart. One's a Scream Factory movie, and it's called Relic. And it looks like it says it's a weird take on the haunted house genre. And it's got a slip, but once again, the same artwork. Sometimes, well, this one's kind of cool. Actually, this is the reason that I like slip covers sometimes. Scream Factory usually does reversible cover art. So this actually does have different artwork. So what I tend to do is I flip the covers and put the original artwork, or if you there, and typically their slips have alternate artwork. And so then when I display it and pull it out, I've got both the artworks that I can see. And since I'm a physical media collector, that's the kind of thing I think is cool. The last movie that I bought in stores was Death of Me with Maggie Q. I really like her, and this seemed like a unique concept. This one doesn't have unique artwork, and it's, I think, Lionsgate, and they never print anything. So I got the digital code there. I'll cover that up. So other than that, that's what I bought in stores. So let me go ahead and move these.
You smell like Beast Lab after taco night.
Shut up. I bought 2 collector sets on Ronin Flicks, and that was a website that's got some special editions of some horror movies. And the first one, I think I might have mentioned these last week. Well, I went ahead and bought both of them, and they came pretty quick. So the first one, I'll just go ahead and show you, is the movie Haunt. And that's the special edition Blu Ray, and there's the cover art. It's not lenticular, but it does have a weird where you can see the mask. The cool thing about this is that movie's only available on Blu-ray in this set. It wasn't released in stores on Blu-ray. It was only on DVD, so I didn't purchase it because I rarely buy DVDs, like I said, unless it's a special edition or something that I know will be valuable later. The other set is something I've been waiting for a while as well. It's from Ronin Flicks as well, and one thing I don't really like, they come in the same box, so unless you pick it up, this one weighs more, so I know which one it is. It's the I Spit on Your Grave collector's edition. So I'm not going to get it out, but I will tell you it's a box set, and it comes with all 3 of these discs. The original movie, the sequel, I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu, and the documentary about, which is the first one here. Sorry, I got them backwards. Growing Up with I Spit on Your Grave. That's a good documentary that I've heard about. Heard good things, but never seen it. So I'm going to revisit this set, and when I watch them, I'll probably review. I don't know. Maybe I'll review the whole set, or will I review each individual ones? I don't know. I guess I'll see how it goes once I get into it. So with that being said, let's see what I got here. What am I missing? I did want to mention, there's 2 movies going around on social media that I've seen years ago and have kind of forgotten about them. And I'm going to revisit them because I don't know why they're getting a lot of play now. But one is Megan is Missing. And I know that's one of the, like a video nasty type movie. And then the other one is Knock Knock, Keanu Reeves. I've seen both of them and they're good. And I don't know why people are just now discovering them. I think maybe one of the things I'll do on my YouTube channel is a lot of these movies that as I like them or discover them, maybe I'll mention them because it'll show them maybe what kind of taste I have in movies. One of the last things is that I forgot to mention as far as movies goes. I heard that Coming to America, I've been wondering when that was going to come out, and I read online today that that's not going to come out in the theaters, and maybe it's because of everything happening in the world, but that Amazon bought that, and that's going to debut as an Amazon Prime exclusive in sometime in, I think, maybe March of 2021. That's pretty interesting. And then I got a new note here I made myself to mention Chris Hemsworth. I saw that they're wrapping the filming of Thor Love and Thunder, and that's going to release in 2022. But I don't know if you guys know, he is going to play, of all things, Hulk Hogan in a Hulk Hogan biopic. And I saw some pictures of him working out, and he has gotten massive. So he's kind of funny and quirky in a lot of things, and I think he might do well in that role. So that being said, what I'm going to do now is, I know last week I talked about wrestling quite a bit, and I'm not going to do it as much this week because I may end up making it its own segment, but I'm going to tell you each of the shows and what match I think you should watch. On Monday Night Raw, the show was pretty weak again, but the Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre championship match was a really good match for those 2 main event guys. And I'm going to go ahead and spoil it for you since it's already happened. And you would know if you've seen Survivor Series. But they had Randy Orton lose the title on Raw back to Drew McIntyre, which is shocking to me. But it's kind of cool they did a title change on a TV show. SmackDown was kind of boring this week. It kind of flip-flopped between Raw and SmackDown, which one's the worst. I thought it was really boring. The only thing cool that I saw on there was Bayley come out and named herself captain, and they had all the females kind of feeling that why does she deserve that, and she just lost the belt and all that kind of thing. So they got her still playing her arrogant character. It was a pretty decent match between Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy, and please, can that feud be over? This is ridiculous how long that's going on. To me though, the 2 best matches of the week were both female matches, and the first one is on NXT. Io Shirai fought Rhea Ripley for the NXT women's title, and if you don't see anything else this week wrestling related, you need to watch that match, because that match to me is one of the candidates for match of the year. It is outstanding. I love the work that both of them did. I don't think you'll find a better women's match, but a close second this week was AEW, and I actually give them some credit. They had a women's match where Thunder Rosa fought Serena Deeb for the NWA women's title. And I laughed, and I try to give them credit, but I will say it's awful ironic that one of their best matches they've had is between one woman who isn't on the main roster yet and fighting for a title that isn't even their company's women's title. So they put that ahead and had a better match for that than their own belt. That says a lot. Funny note, sort of related to wrestling, as you know, John Moxley is the AEW champion. He made mention in one of his promos on the show that his wife, Renee Young, is pregnant, and then she announced, obviously, on social media that she was pregnant, and told a funny story that when she went to text her husband, when she found out, she actually texted the wrong person and told Bayley, that's on SmackDown, that she was pregnant. So Bayley found out before her husband, which is, used to be Dean Ambrose. So we'll go ahead and try to wrap this up now. I know I was going to try to be shorter but last week, and I think it's going to end up being about the same amount of time. But there's two key pieces of news that I wanted to let you know that I liked. Thought they were cool little nuggets. This week, Jamie Lee Curtis, who I think is one of the best screen queens ever, she celebrated her 62nd birthday. So not that she would ever see this, but if she ever did, happy birthday, Jamie. I'm looking forward to seeing Halloween Kills next year. The second is Supernatural had its series finale this past week, and I thought it was awesome. If you haven't seen that yet, you need to watch it. It's a fitting end to the series. I'm glad they didn't do like a big glorious battle or anything. It was kind of low key. It was really emotional. So if you like the show, you might want to have your box of tissues nearby. And so with that, I think I'm going to end it. I'll give you a couple key pieces of information. If you buy anything from me on eBay, I've got me some cool new business cards. I'm not going to stretch across. I'll put one up here so you can see it. It just advertises my YouTube channel or whatever. I thought that was a cool little thing I could do to start giving people some interest. If you buy anything from me or get anything in the mail, you're going to get one of those. And other than that, some of the things I'm going to have on the channel coming soon is I'll do some of those movie reviews. Like I said, I've got a couple of fan films, Friday the 13th, that I want to watch. We'll review on the channel. And then I've got two things that I'm going to do videos this week for sure. For Thanksgiving, I want to post some really unique, weird maybe choices for Thanksgiving holiday movies that you can watch this weekend. I'm going to try to record that tomorrow and post it early, maybe on Wednesday. And then the other video that I was going to do is, I mentioned it earlier in this video, a video about why I like physical media versus digital media. A couple things happened this week where that kind of came into the forefront in my mind, and I think you might enjoy that and hear some of my ramblings about why I still like physical media and collect it. So other than that, I'm going to go ahead and do my little words of wisdom of the week. And this is from somebody, a philosopher that you may recognize. And this is the way the words go. There's a force in the universe that makes things happen. And all you have to do is get in touch with it. You have to stop thinking, let those things happen, and learn to be the ball. Those are words of wisdom from the great Ty Webb. Chevy Chase from Caddyshack. No. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. Do me a favor, like this video, make any comments you want, good, bad, or indifferent. Please subscribe to the channel and then hit that notification bell, because when you do that, you'll be the first to know when Jeffman316 Customs post new video, and you can come back and hopefully you'll support me now and in the future with those new videos. So I really appreciate you coming by, and this is Jeffman316 signing off, saying you guys be safe out there.